There we go. Let's get back up and running again. It was actually made for kids, which does not enable comments. And I'm going to chat to people. Ever since ScapeCon, I have been missing my fellow escapers, so I haven't had anyone to talk to. There we go. It's every time we go live. There we go. Now we have chats enabled. And without anyone in the chat, it's Saturday night, but if someone does, at least the option is there. As you can tell, my voice is all crackly, so I do apologize for that, but hey, such is life. Just getting back to painting Kita the Spring Runner here after some brief technical difficulties, and we are just applying a dark Germanic brown from Vallejo. Getting this all painted up, we have resolved the focus issues that have been plaguing us for the last couple streams. We're up and running. We're cooking. Let's get some color on these fur babies. I'm just being pretty sloppy with it, just all model. I'm not really caring if I get over parts. I'm going to cover later. If you keep your paints thin, you're always able to do that for the first layer. I shot a video today. I'm scripting another. I am actively getting out of the slump I've been in. I kind of just think I would have been a bit overwhelmed. You know, just all the escape, the stuff that's I've been expected to do, various other just personal things. You know, kids starting school, and a bit of personal sickness, you know, or allergies, I think as it turned out to be. But yeah, I'm being back in the flow of things. I've been working on my own projects, and just kind of enjoying this new escape. Just kind of taking my time. I have a couple sets of it, so I'll be doing more tutorials. Yeah, I wanted to spend like the first week just kind of working on my own color schemes, just painting to improve my personal craft. This is what I'm currently working on now, kind of a bigger project. I haven't even started the white on this guy, believe it or not. This is still like skeleton bone tone, layered. I actually layered this with like purple, so I'm just trying some new things I normally don't do. So it's always good to kind of improve your personal skill, improve your, you know, what you can do and can't do. That's part of the content creation side, is finding that balance between creating stuff and also learning stuff. But I always say I'm not like the absolute master at this. You know, I'm competent and confident in my abilities, but as with art, there's always new avenues to explore, things you maybe just skills you have undeveloped that you would really like to hone. Personally, for me, what I've been really working on lately is understanding light a lot better. Working with HeroScape models, I've never really had to think of light as an aspect when painting. You know, I've just really been focused on getting colors where they go, make them match. My color matching skill is really, really good. It's a really finely matched skill I've developed, but adding appropriate lighting has been a bit of a journey for me. You know, for like non-metallic metals and just shading on creatures, seeing how light actually affects the colors. It's been fun. So we're just working on adding a nice solid coat to old Kita here. I did have someone message me and ask to make Kita look like an apparition. see if I could do that. You know what, maybe I will do that because I have a couple extra Kitas lying around here. Maybe I'll do more of like a ghostly winter version while I'm here today, if I feel so inclined. We'll see. Appreciate doing this live from B321 Gonzo. Well, of course, I try to do this as often as I can, time permitting. I appreciate you watching me live. I always love having people here. If you have any questions or want me to explore something else, you know, I have ADHD, so I am willing to forego what I'm currently doing now. It doesn't take much to stop me doing this. So we got this nice dark rich tone on Kita. We're gonna let this dry for a second. When you paint, it really helps to save paint and time if you find a lot of things with similar colors and just kind of start kind of going down a line. So that's while that's drying, while I normally wouldn't have nothing to do, I'm going to use kind of a similar color scheme on this on shoe right here as well. Just start applying the base layer. So by the time this is done, that will be dry and I can move on to the next thing. Now I'm using just a standard brush I got from Walmart. I bought like a pack of 20 of these for like $10, I think. So if you're starting off painting, this is a really great. I love the big body of it. It's I'll post in the show notes afterwards, but it's just I was actually surprised with the quality of these brushes. Nice big body, just to get a nice base coat on. I'm really liking it. You know, for when we go more to the detail work, we'll of course go to the more nicer brushes, but I need to start working on an overlay for this. I think that would be pretty good. You know, show what colors I'm working on. I need to actually just add an overlay in general, as I think it'd be informative for people watching. I'm just going to keep it pretty moist, just not wanting to clog up the details, and just kind of flowing the flow of the texture here. Nothing too fancy. I'm not worried about covering up spots because this is the first layer. There's no need to be careful. Let's make sure we're in the focus square. All right. I get these periods where I go kind of through a bit of a mental rut. You know, it's always nice when you kind of work your way out of them. You know, it's I felt like today was like I finally able to make some headway on this kind of just brain fog I've been having. Just kind of, you know, as an artist and a creator, you always kind of are struggling against yourself. It's not even like discouragement, which has usually been a you know, an enemy of mine of just that self-doubt. It's just, I think it was just literal exhaustion and tiredness was in the way. You know, I also have trouble sleeping, so I spend a lot of time late at night painting. So sometimes you just start painting and, you know, you just kind of, you're not even paying attention type of deal. So it's nice to get some things done today. Have a clear head, be able to stream, talk, do all that kind of stuff. Legs here. This is why I like doing black, because if you miss any parts of these, it's really easy to cover up. If you miss it, it just kind of looks like shadow. That's the main reason why I don't like doing light gray and white, is because I'm kind of a lazy painter. You know, I just, half the time I'm just looking to get stuff done for my own personal stuff, and having a black layer is really good for covering up that shadow. I don't mind spending the time layering up because I already kind of do that. But the just missing parts, I will just ignore. My feet always look really bad on models because I don't care, because you often don't notice them. So I will just not even add shading or anything like that. Just for when I like take close-ups, I really care. Alright, so this paint's pretty wet. We're just having it flow. We're going to put a couple coats on just to really make this no like white or gray splotches. again, we're using Germanic Black Brown. This is a great from Vallejo. This is a great color. If you're planning on painting lots of browns, it's an excellent brown base coat, as it's just got a lot of subtleness to this color. A lot of it really walks that line between black and brown, and it's one of the darkest browns I can find from pre-mix. Ella made a video recently where they doing really. I was wondering how long they were going to keep the bit going of going owl. Anshu's an owl. Who? Anshu's an owl. That was pretty funny. Hale says, "Hiya, sir. I'm working and listening to 2 streams at once. Oh, and editing some videos too. How you doing? My painting comes with bursts of inspiration when I have time. LOL." You know what? I admire the ability to to focus on so many things. I hope they are all beneficial to you, and that you're having a good day. Who are you working on the hero video? I think you posted it on Discord. It was going live when you posted it. That's what you're working on. I'm excited to look into it. I need to work on adding the chat to the stream too. That's a fix I would like to have. So for people watching, they know what I'm talking about and who I'm talking to. Let's make sure to focus here. Ooh, I'm excited. Hero, the hero. My voice is shot. So that's ain't gonna happen. While I have the sprout out, let's just go down the line. Let's get a little goth lock painted up here. I actually got this free from ScapeCon. Someone was thrown away. It had kind of a bad prime job on it, and I fixed them up. And now I don't have to use my 3D print goth lock, which I'm happy about. But notice how I'm just going to be economical with my paints. I like to kind of group things that are similarly colored, and squads especially. It's sometimes faster to work on like 3 sets of squads than 1 individual figure in a squad. So just kind of work in a simplified fashion. And while these are all drying, maybe I didn't see it right. This is the reason you to paint the face. I know the face is white on this, so I just made sure to get all the areas around it. I mean, you could paint the face and it's fine, but I know this face is going to be a lighter color, so I just saved myself a bit of time by not painting the face. If you paint it, like again, you could be kind of messy and not care. I just kind of know that it has a white face. And layering white up from... I have different plans to the face, so we could paint that and have it be just fine, but I want to put a new base coat for that to build up to white, to add some kind of just really make it appear different from the rest of the model, because that's the highlight. But you could put brown on that and then put a new base layer. It's just part of it's just me talking and knowing what I'm painting. That's the advantage of having a guide. When I'm like just freestyling, kind of putting colors on, I just cover the whole thing and then work from there. Alright, just getting some dark brown, old gothy here. This is a customs unit, but if you're looking to get in customs, this is a really fun guy. Just had him out. Thought I'd get a little paint on him because gray minis drive me crazy. Stay in the focus square. I'm a very active painter, so I always go all around like this. My camera hates to focus, especially when I'm live, so I gotta stay in my marks here. All right. Focus one. I'm trying a new background for painting. It's a bit more solid coat. It's actually the back of a carpet square, because I found my camera didn't like those lines when I was recording. I really like to focus on those cutting lines. So always make small improvements here. The only problem with doing this is that sometimes you'll have like 4 figures unfinished, and I'm a completionist. I like to get my job done. Let's just get the display here. If you notice you put paint on and it's kind of coming a little thick, like here I wasn't paying attention and put on a little thick. Try to spin it around before it dries. It's really because you want all these details to stay. The moment you stop covering up details is the moment you start losing the integrity of the model. And you have to kind of remove it. So I'm keeping my paint pretty wet, pretty, that's why I like base coating with a big body brush, and just keeping my moisture on the brush, spreading around, and removing excess on my hand, because I just do that. And then just kind of keep it flowing. Working with just paint right out of the bottle is typically pretty hard. I'm using a wet palette, which I recommend anyone looking to paint to get, as this is pretty much just a sponge, a piece of parchment paper, and water. This keeps your paint what's called alive, pretty much moist and flowing. It doesn't necessarily affect how much water is there, but for the most part, you can keep I've had paint stay in here, kind of custom mixes and stuff like that, for days on end. So this is a really great tool. You may notice if you're starting painting that you're putting on a dry palette, kind of like just a piece of a paper plate or anything like that. It dries really fast. One, you waste a lot of paint, and if you make some cool mixes or find a color you like, then it all goes to waste and you have to build that up again or remember what you did, which I am the worst at remembering my mixes. That's why I have so many pre-mixed bottles. I know you can mix some paints, but I'm never I'm never paying attention enough to do that. Alright. Get this guy all done here while we're at it. Alright, so since we're kind of working like this, let's go back to Kita. Now we're going to introduce a kind of a ruddier brown into this. I'm using, I believe, Dryad Brown from Army Painter, or Fanatic line. And we are just going to think about this model, think where the light is hitting, and then we're just going to kind of try to keep this dark tone there, and just add a bit of water so it's thin. You kind of want your paint to come off the brush. You kind of notice how it's kind of translucent. You kind of see through it. That's what you're going for a good thin down paint. And then we are going to apply this to everywhere but where the shadows are falling. So really just kind of these deep recesses here. We really want to just buff these up a bit. I'm essentially dry brushing with a wet brush. It's a technique called moist brushing, where you kind of am going against the texture, but I'm not really trying to get that chalkiness on it yet. Just kind of add some new colors and tones to the model. Start shifting to a different brush. We probably get this out of here first. probably so subtle it doesn't even show up on camera, but just to add a bit more uniqueness to this fur pelt. Notice I haven't painted the purple plates yet. I'm being kind of messy with this, so I don't really want to paint that all up and then have to go through and redo it. We're looking pretty good there. Also, big news for the channel. If you want to see me paint some more, Renegade has asked me to paint on their mini Mondays. I will be painting there this Monday at 6 p.m. Central Time, so you can watch me paint Miserex live. I'm excited for it. I'll actually be on their YouTube channel. I'll be sure to post a link to it. So, you know, if you have some more Scape related questions, definitely tune in there. I'm going to be doing that every other Monday for the foreseeable future. So, someone's trying to get me in a routine live stream. Alright, and I'm keep it this here. Behind the ears is a good spot where you'll just miss it. So we're slowly building this up here. What color are Akita's antlers? I honestly forget. Let me look that up real fast here. I believe they're golden, but they might be purple. Let's see here. Okita. Oh, this thing has a white chest fur. I forgot because the model doesn't, I think. Oh, it does. It has a little bit. I probably should pull out the official model. No worries. We can add some color there. Actually, we'll bring a bit of brightness to it. And it looks like it has like a gray to a gold. Okay. So let's, I forgot about that. Let's work on adding some white to old Kita here. So, since we already have this dark tone, do we want to do a cool white or a... So, when you do white, there's two choices. You can do a cool white, a neutral white, or a warm white. Warm white uses like tans and builds up to whites. Neutral white uses gray, and a cool white builds up to blue. Of course, you can use any color to build up to white, but those are the most common. Let's make it a cool, because I think we're going to build Okita here up to be a bit kind of... I will use more of a neutral. So if I can find my paints. Please hold while I look around my establishment. I do not have a Patreon yet. Honestly, the channel has just started to kind of get some involvement, so it's hasn't been set up yet. But if that's something people would like to do, I honestly am down for that. But that's something to consider. I will definitely look into that. I mean, I appreciate you even asking about that. But for now, I'm pretty open. If people have questions, I try to get them going. Only thing delaying me is just kind of my personal life here, but you know, I try to be pretty available as possible for people, but you know, it would be nice to have, because sometimes this does get in the way of other projects, personal projects, to, you know, feed the family. I'll look into that. That's a good idea. I think I just gotta hit the point where it's something that's something to consider. You know, I think kind of small, and I think that's a downside of mine. Also, for those wondering, I am using military field blue from Vallejo. Yeah, nice little blue on it. Blue-gray. I really just do this because I love the game and I love the community. You know, there's a big HeroScape. Really is. I love seeing all the paint jobs, but you know, traditionally people that play the game aren't painters. And I mean, I was a painter. If you asked me, you know, 6 years ago, if I was going to be having my own painting YouTube channel, I would be like, no, I can't paint. You know, I always tell people that if I can paint, anyone can paint, because I have arthritis in my hands shake and tremble. It's just, those are just excuses I think people say. You know, some things just take a bit longer, a bit more focus. If you really want to do something, you can do it. So we are kind of freestyling now here. So I wasn't planning this part out. We're just adding some thin layers of gray. We're gonna really buff this up to white, really make this pop, I think. I'm trying to see where it starts and ends. Is it just the chest, or does it go to back to? I think it's just here. So overextended. We'll try it out. I'm trying to keep this official color schemes, but we might freestyle a bit here. All right. But yeah, the Skip community is really great. It's a good one to be a part of, and there's a lot of new artists entering the fray. So I really want them to have just a place to hang out, ask questions, and not feel bad about it. You know, that was the hardest part for me when my journey is just feeling embarrassed to ask stuff, not knowing stuff. All right, let's get Anshu going here while that dries. Let's actually add a purple while I'm here, because I think I'll be doing. No, I'll probably be dry brushing, so let's wait till we dry brush. These live streams, you gotta kind of see the mental process unfold out live. You know, that's why I make those edited videos. They're a bit more concise. You get a little bit less me talking to myself. Okay, so we're gonna make Anshu a bit brighter at the onset. Most important tool you can have when you paint is a paper clip. Because if you squeeze it, it's dried up there, it'll create a mess. It's almost a rite of passage. I don't like using pots that much. Yeah, I'm just eyeballing at this point. That's the best way to do it, honestly, is just to just use your eyes. I'm currently working on a video now that will give you there's a program called Paint Rack that is really good, because there's color matches and some stuff like that. But color's all just kind of dependent on perception, lighting, a bunch of different things. And the way I paint, I'm going to add layers and variation to it to make it feel a bit more rich and vibrant. Those colors on the Pantone are just print colors. That's pretty much, Pantone is a system for, like, you know how your printer has, like, I think it's CMYK. It's pretty much like that, but for like physical models. It's just, you just look at that and you those color squares are just kind of like a good, unbiased way to know what colors to look. I have a lot of experience with these paints, so I'm pretty familiar with them, and you know, I'm not trying to be 100% accurate. I just kind of, you do this for a while, you get kind of a hang of colors. You know, I've probably over 300 paints, I'd say, and I just kind of know what colors feel like, how they respond. And if they're not, you can always kind of shift it or build off a wrong color. So color ultimately is a lie. Everyone perceives colors and interacts with colors differently. So I always suggest to new painters that, one, you can mix paints. You know, I can mix this brown and this blue right here and get my own color. Yeah, if I want to do that, and I could add that here. Add some gray to the wings if I really wanted to. Like, color is the most flexible thing out there, and trying to get a one-for-one match of the colors is gonna, you spend more time doing that than actually just painting. But yeah, for the most part, I'm just eyeballing. Long-windedly answer the question. It's just, I say, oh, that's a warm brown, and then I look at my warm browns. The Army Painter line's really good. I've been using them a lot lately because they kind of tell you where they are in relation to other colors and how deep and how dark and kind of its color subtype. So this is a ruddy brown, so I know that this is like a reddish orange brown, and it's kind of more on the darker side. So that gives me a point of reference there. But you just kind of know. After a while, you're like, oh, I don't even know. I'm just gonna try the color out because I want to. And if it's weird, then it's weird. So if you finish a figure, maybe don't finish it, decide that you don't like the colors, how hard is it to restart? Does the paint need stripped somehow? Or, okay, so it kind of depends on your application. So these are plastic models, and plastic is a little bit harder to strip than metal. Metal models are great to practice on because you can just soak them in like a cleaning agent, like detergent, and scrub it off, and the metal will still be intact. Plastic is a bit more fragile. It's still possible, but you got to be a little bit more careful because you can start to actually, you know, wipe down the details. I would recommend, if you're kind of starting this journey, is to get a bunch of models that you want to practice on. You know, order 3D prints, or just a bunch of models that are your test models, and get your hand on the paints and the application, and keep those. I keep my first model near my desk, so I always remember it. Because painting is a process. You know, I paint 10 times better than I did a year ago, and then 10 times better than the year before that. So it's every time you paint something, you learn something. And if you focus on just getting the first figure perfect, you'll be stuck. And that doesn't ultimately answer your question. It's me more just monologuing. Is that if you want to strip it, then I would recommend putting your paints thin down. If you keep your paints thin, then you don't even need to strip it. You can just kind of paint over it. And that's kind of a thing people say a lot. What does it mean to thin your paints? So let's talk about that for a second. And let's see if I have a test model I can show you here. Alright, so I'm just getting paint right out of the bottle. I put it in the palette, but I'm going to go from the top. This is thick. This is thick and gloopy. Acrylic paints are inherently pretty much plastic, is what they are. They're kind of a form of plastic. That's why them drying and all that stuff is kind of so bad. Let's see if I have any models I don't care about here. Alright, we have a one-arm 3D printer. Alright, so I just take it out, put it right on the bottle. Don't care. And I don't bother spreading that around in the face. I just do that. All the details are covered and lost. And let's see if we can get this closer. So it's, you know, this is what we call a bad paint job. Just because you didn't let the paint do the model. Even the little detail, thinning takes different forms. I could take this paint and spread it around the model. That way it disperses. But if I just kept it all clumped up like that, then it's going to be a lot harder than if I kept my paints pretty thin compared to like this, where I added a bunch. So I added a little bit of water to the end of my brush, to the brush, and put it here. So when you thin your paints down, it should have a bit of this pullback. It should try to pull back into itself. You don't want too much water, or otherwise you do this and it becomes what's called a glaze, where it's almost more liquid than, this doesn't stick to the model at all. That's a mess. But you just do like a dab of water in your brush, spread it out, and it's too wet. That here. This is now a thin down. And if I do multiple layers of thin down paint, then you can just paint over it with more thin down paint. And you lose nothing because all the details are still there. But if you apply it pretty thick and gloppy, then you can try to strip it. It won't look as good, and the more you do it, the more details will be lost. It'll kind of become a mess. But you can use there's something I use to strip it. I've done it a couple times for like commissions and stuff like that, or like I dropped it in a thing of red paint or something. I think it's model green. There's a lot of different things you can find online. Simple green is what it's called. You don't want to use isopropyl alcohol on plastic too much, as it will start to dissolve it. It kind of created a mushy mess. But you can use like cleaning solutions like simple green. I've used brake fluid before, but don't do that. That's kind of toxic, and that was a bad idea. But you can, and then you just get a brush and scrub it off, and you should be able to get back to a pretty good starting point. Depending on how thick you put the paint, some of those details will forever be lost. That they're just kind of stuck there because, like I said, this is inherently plastic we're dealing with. So, like I said, I go on tangents. This is essentially that your answer. Is it possible? Yes. The best is just to work on not applying your paints too thick, so you can just apply paint back over it, and then you lose nothing. Like this Raylan figure here. I am in a bit of a problem here because if you notice, I accidentally dropped a big glob of blue right here on his white wings, and I could go through and try to strip and remove that, but thankfully I caught that in time. I applied a bunch of water to it and spread it all around. I had to kind of I've been working on covering it up, but it just takes time, so I spread it all around and then kind of dried it up as much as I could, waited for that to dry, and then just started working my way back up again on these wings. So it's possible. If it's a darker color, it's harder to do compared to a lighter color if you want to cover over. Let's say you paint this on shoe and you're like, oh no, I want this on shoe to be light, like white instead of brown. You can just cover over it and you'll have a good base, but you'll have to apply very thin coats of white over it compared to as if you didn't have this to begin with. If that answers your question, if I'm being relatively unclear on it. So essentially what it boils down to is the thicker the paint application, the harder it is to remove, as well as the darker the paint, the harder it is just to paint over. haven't fully figured out what I'm going to do with Anshu yet. I want Anshu to look like, if you notice, I'm trying to make these figures look a lot more vibrant compared to just brown. You could just put brown on Anshu and put a wash on it, and then you're good. But you lose a lot of that dynamic interaction of fur, which is a really fun thing to paint. So if you can really add some shadows, some subtlety to the mix, you know, mix colors together, create a lot more eye-catching thing. I'm just taking these colors here and just looking at where the, you know, just adding some variation. I'm going to work on blending these together later, but my main goal now is just to add some visual separation on a little Anshu here. Let's let that dry. Main thing is just to keep your paints thin and wait for them to dry. Don't work with them when they're wet too much. Let's get some nice golden colors in this. From this, we're going to transition from, oh, we gotta work on the gray here. So we have this, let's add one more coat of this gray blue. Just to really make sure it's fully covered, no brown peeking through. I decided to go all the way around because I kind of like the idea of a full mane. And we're going to add this white to the legs I just decided as well. And yeah, it's not white yet, but it will be. I'm just using very straight lines, just kind of smooth for this. When you have a figure that's just kind of solid brown, you really want to add something to really break it up. Those are tricky areas. What I'm doing now is called applying multiple coats. So once you kind of let the color dry, you can go back and apply another thin coat. When you apply your paint, it should be slightly transparent. If it's not, then your paint is too thick. Alright, let's see how we're looking. Alright, that's going to come out really nice once we're all done with that. I have a couple guys I'm working on. On shoes would be really good. We're sure to get some really nice light developed here. Let's start making this. Let's make sure I don't have any areas I want to cover up. Let's really buff this up here. Alright, so we're gonna get some caramel brown. I don't know why I said it the wrong way, but from Pro Acryl. I'm using paints in multiple brands, just because I like brands for different things. Now that's a very bright, almost yellow brown, so let's add just a bit of chocolate brown from Vallejo into that, just to kind of dull it down a bit. Now we're going to grab here what's called a dry brush, and well, first I'm going to mix it together, just darken it. That's kind of a nice light tan at this point. And we're going to get this dry brush. Dry brush is essentially, you can use any brush. You preferably want one with a big head. It's fluffy. Makeup brushes work really good. If you're kind of on a budget, you can buy like a pack of cheap makeup brushes and they do the job just as well. Like these, it's kind of a fluffy head or an old brush. Now here's a secret to dry brushing. One, recommend getting some brush soap, because you'll go through dry brushes pretty fast. Probably should have had that out anyways. That's the easiest way to keep your brushes alive, is with soap. And I may not have my secret with me this time. It's okay. So typically you want to add just a tiny bit of moisture to the dry brush. Like, I'm talking like a single drop on a piece of sponge, and then dry that out. A bit of moisture will help reduce a chalky texture when you dry brush, which has kind of typically been a problem with it. So just a nice dry brush here. Just a tiny, like the tiniest single drop I put on this of moisture. Too much, and it will not be a dry brush anymore. Where is my texture? You want to take your dry brush and remove the excess. I don't have my texture palette nearby. I'm going to go grab it. So just grab a paper towel, which works just as good. And just grab a paper towel. You can use a texture palette and just remove all the excess until you can almost see nothing come out. Like, this is still too much. Alright, so you should look at that, and then you want to go against the texture. And we're just going to start adding the easiest highlights in the world. This works really great on fur, and I'm going to take too much out. There you go. I want this a bit heavier. And this works really great. Fur, feathers, and the like. If you're a crazy person, you can go in and outline every one of those feathers and add some highlights. But I'm a busy guy, and this looks just as good. And you can layer up this dry brush to as bright as you like. But I'm catching all these raised surfaces right here. This is when it really starts. See, if you don't take enough, you start to kind of get that cloudiness. I'm going to try to avoid that, but we're going to put a wash to dull it down. There you got some texture. We're gonna now go a little bold and get like a brownish yellow if I have it nearby. We got some wasteland clay, and we're just gonna add just a little bit, just a tiny bit. When I'm not on stream, I commonly just do this in my pant legs. Don't do that. Now we're just gonna add a little bit of just this bright yellow to really make it sing. See kind of the edge of the wings right here at the top. Just a little bit. Dry brushing is so satisfying. You cannot find something more so than this. Around the face. Look at that. Now we're cooking here. Let's go over and check the spots I missed. And when you're done with the brush, and put it to your brush soap if you want to keep this brush alive. And my computer just stopped. I'm going to be right back for a second. Just take a quick break as I plug that back in. And we're back. I'm still alive. I'm still here. Where am I? Why is my... There we go. Okay. And I see that Exhala and Roman into the chat. Hello, friends. Have you gotten a chance to try the cuttlefish? I have. I especially like the silvers. It's been making layering up the metals like a dream. The brown is really nice. The red is a bit more finicky. I haven't fully mastered that color profile yet, but I've been using the bits. Where did I use that one? I've definitely tested them a lot. I like them a lot. They're actually not as thin. I was thinking more like inks, but I got the brown here. Browns are really good. Just thing to layer up, which I might try to do on these guys. But I think I went a little bit too bright in my hindsight with these. But don't worry, I was planning on doing that. And just finished a wash us, and now she turned out like cotton candy. I finished my Alachia and I was a little disappointed because it just turned out exactly like the pre-painted model. And I said, well, this kind of stinks. Why why did I even paint this? I was like, I think I color matched a bit too good. I have to add a one more layer to that, but I was like, this is just the same thing. I don't know if that's a humble brag or not. I'm sorry if it is. I was expecting something a bit more vibrant, so I was a little sad by that. But I think that's supposed to be a good thing. What was it? Painting on shoot. Yes, aren't you glad I didn't paint something else? My train of thought is so small. It's a one-train car, and I'm the caboose. Yes, let me get my strong tone for our little owl. Spelled A-U-L, of course. I don't know why my thing is all messed up. Here it is. There we go. Let me get reset up here. I have a very complicated system because my editing station's over there, that's where our computer's at. But I recently moved my painting station over here, which means I have to live cast my computer to my setup here. Won't you bless you? I was wondering how long you guys were gonna do your little owl bit in the video. It definitely it looped all the way around from like, okay, this is going to, oh, this is funny again. But we're looking to layer this down here. If I can find my dang washes. But to answer your question, yes, the cuttlefish are working really good. They're fun paints. Don't ask about my organizational system. There isn't one. It's the death of my wife, but you know, I was able to find that relatively fast. Probably don't put your washes on your wet palette. That's a boo-boo on my part, but you know, life is filled with boo-boos, especially the honey palettes. All right, the washes you want to get a nice thick body. And you want to get not your best brush. This one, which has just these hairs. Well, you should be able to fix that. Because washes will destroy your brushes. Nobody's business, because they like to seep right down to the ferrule. Alright, let's... And let's really bring all these colors together. Army Painter washes act as almost like a filter or half glaze when you put them on. So you always want to think, this is going to darken my whole model. So I traditionally try to paint them a bit brighter, and then downscale from there, just to kind of blend all these colors together. But like if you're using like Citadel washes, they don't do that as much. They tend to flow a bit more. So it's just all about kind of knowing what different paints do and how they react. I would say Army Painter washes are great if you're trying to make things look like the classic HeroScape look. But Citadel washes and other brands have a bit more control and flow to them. Where did I just have this? There we go. Most important tool. I also lose my caps a lot. Like, don't lose your caps. Caps a pain. And don't put it back on the tray. Yeah, at this point I don't even care. I'm above remorse. Alright, and just apply this nice. Then Army Painter washes you typically don't want to thin down unless you have a medium. Putting water into it will typically kind of cause it to get kind of blotchy and cause an effect called coffee staining, where kind of the wash kind of just dries not very fluidly. So if you are planning on using Army Painter washes, then definitely try to get some medium if you can. for best results. You can use water. I've used water and it's still fine, but higher chance. So this is a strong tone. It's nice, dark and brown, and it really just kind of ties all this together. And we're not going to be done with it. The washes do take a long time to dry. So typically you want to kind of finish off with a wash and work on it a couple hours later after it's been applied. So it's good to do as a last step, but I like to put it on, blend the colors, and then kind of raise them back up again. And kind of create a little bit of diversity in the model. Love Monument because there's no cap. Yeah, they're pretty good. Except I forget to unscrew mine so that they don't like to come out. You have to. They're a lot harder to clean. But I do like Monument paints a whole bunch. They are my favorite for sure. But I wouldn't recommend anyone starting painting to get them, except I would recommend you get their bold titanium white and their burnt red, which I think every HeroScaper should have in their inventory. One, because their white is pretty impressive with its coverage, and their burnt red is used for like 90% of Agar's forces. I did this with burnt red. I'm still working on this figure. I try to do the runes, just draw them, but that didn't turn out too good. So I gotta figure out what I was gonna do with this. I actually practiced a long time with just non-metallic gold on this, but then I got frustrated and covered it up because I wasn't liking how it's turning out. That's what I'm working on, is painting that in MM now, but it's just a bit of a tedious process. I realize I like to get things done because I have a lot of things to paint, things to get done. Alright, let's get back to our little fluff boy here. So that layered, all put in. Let's not use R. Alright, let's build up to the next color. I'm going to be looking for a light gray. We use Stonewall Gray from Vallejo Game Color line. And we're going to really thin this down. Let's get something with a bit more control at this part. Because frankly, I don't want to keep on doing this. I got my Brushatorium. Whole graveyard of mistreated brushes, but it's neither here nor there. Where are the brushes I want to use? Alright, so we're making this a bit thinner, and then we're going to mix a bit of this blue, just so it's not as harsh of a transition into this. But only like 10% of that. There we go. So you're painting white. The best way to paint white is to not paint white at all. You just gotta trick your brain into thinking it's white. Your brush pile stresses you out. Yeah, a lot of things I do stress a lot of people out. It's not a system for people who like systems. I've been accused of having reverse OCD. For sure, where things in order drive me crazy, and that sounds about right. But yeah, I don't like throwing brushes away, even when I should. You know, I've had brushes since I first started painting there, and they're all globby messes. I should just like toss them because they have seen better days, but I won't because I'm obstinate. So right now I'm taking this brush and very just quickly adding this lighter tone to the raised areas. You can dry brush this part, but I wanted it to kind of flow a bit better with the that blue. Kind of moist brushing it. Now I think in the picture it uses more of a warm white. If you want to do that, kind of start with like a nice tan and build your way up. But I wanted this to really contrast against these warmer tones we'll be using. Talking during this part because I'm focused, but I mean, just want to get all the corners. Using short straight lines to add a bit of texture, simulating fur. And I'm kind of adding it right now, and I'm going to go in and kind of blend it together there. Yeah, I wish I could do that. For instance, I quite literally physically could not work on more than one model at once. I don't remember what color goes where. Even for like squads and stuff like that, even if it's like all like the same kind of color scheme, or is it just for just more like different types of models? Now, if you notice, I'm really trying to focus the white on the outer sides. It's really kind of, that's where you're going to be paying the most attention to. I'm sorry, not white, light gray. Alright, now we're going to take this dark blue and we're going to add a lot of water to it. Flows like this. And we're gonna blend all this together. Haven't painted a squad yet. See, I actually like to work on like the base part of models, a lot of different models, but I don't like doing like the details spread out. Like that's really hard for me because I just like forget what I'm doing on them, what I need to do. Like the stuff that requires, like once I can get to this point, I just start like working on the model and finishing it. But like the base coat, I try to get that knocked out. But everyone has their own technique. There's no wrong way. I don't know what I'm doing here. I think I'm trying to figure that out. Alright, well, let's get some fun purples on this stuff while I'm thinking on that. Actually, I'm still figuring this guy out. Let's see here. What do I want to do with him? Nice light brown added to him. Let's get some leather brown. You, of course, can mix your own browns, but not a leather brown. Oh, I got a little bit left. I'll have to get some more. Leather brown is probably the color you will use most. It's another color that's just good to have. Such a slow painter. I printed some stormtroopers and took an embarrassing amount of time. Stormtroopers are a bit of a beast to paint. No shame in that there. I mean, you see how long it takes to layer white. And even if you prime white, you have to be really careful without mistakes. Everyone paints at their own pace, you know? I used to be a lot faster of a painter, and but then everyone says, hey, how do you paint? So now I have to be like, oh wait, now I have to actually care about it. So that's the problem. I have to explain every step. Just easy, but so right now we're just adding. I'm just gonna see if I like this light gray here on the model, this light tan on the model. And sections, yeah, that's it's a lot easier when you know what you're doing. Like, sometimes I just kind of will paint a model to the point where I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. And I'll just kind of wait till I have like another color on my palette. I was like, oh, that looks nice. I'll put that there. I rarely kind of plan out for my stuff beforehand. It's a different experience. It tickles a different part of your brain. You know, copying colors compared to creating your own color scheme. Both are kind of satisfying, but one is like there's a certain kind of thrill in how close you can get it to look, how accurate it is, because that's kind of a skill in its own right. And then there's a certain level of skill and fun and how unique can you get a color scheme. Right now I'm individually highlighting the furs on this model just because I wanted to do something different compared to dry brushing. And I'm just pretty much kind of trying to define the light and what I want to do with this model. I haven't really decided yet. I haven't really decided how much effort I want to put onto the little Kita here. I'm proud of my Dread Pirate Robert. Took Adam 6 hours to paint a single model, a single color. I mean, that's a little bit of time there, but the real question is, did you enjoy it? If you enjoyed it, then no comments. If you did enjoy the time getting that color painted, then you're gonna say, what do I need to improve? But some people just like taking their time. I mean, like I spent I'm still working on this. I spent about 3 hours just putting this on, and I still have probably 5 more layers to apply, and then a color shift to a brighter color. So I mean, taking your time in colors is totally valid. If you're working with like brighter colors, if you really want to like work in shadows and stuff like that, no shame there. I just I live for the detail work. I want someone else to base paint so I can immediately start edge highlighting. Huh. I like it, but I always get so stressed out because like I always get kind of impatient at that stage. I just want to get done, even though that's when the model starts to come alive. So I always will like rush through my eyes and my face, and the edge highlighting and stuff like that, and then I have to start over. Get paid for my impatience. But it is really satisfying if you like just can focus on that. My voice is going out, so I apologize for the the pre-adolescent squeaks and loss of voice, but you know, it is what it is. Or post-adolescent. So right now I'm working on just adding a bit of texture to Kita, taking this kind of orangish brown, this leather brown, and just making a bunch of very small lines to really kind of simulate the fur and the light. Just to show a different method compared to dry brushing. It takes a bit more work, but it is a lot, you know, as you're saying, very satisfying just to get all these details put in. Appreciate all the outs you're giving, but the color's black and the model is primed to black. I mean, you know, it's back to black. It's, yeah, I mean, hey, I'm not gonna, I feel like you're trying to get me into a trap here, but, you know, yeah, that's a long time to paint the color the same color. But if you were like layering black's really hard. That's a thing. If it's a solid coat of black after it was base black, I mean, yeah, it's focus on this here. Add a bit of gold. The most important part about this technique is letting the spaces between the colors exist. You really just gotta take your time. Don't cover up those shadows, those recesses. It's pretty much just dry brushing with extra steps. I decided to paint some of my Zombicide figures, then go back to painting the Axe Grinders and Michael. I look forward to seeing those paint jobs. Those was watching Caleb some figures, and they've been sending me their paint jobs. I've been loving seeing the work done. I love seeing people's paints. Like, my ultimate goal is for everyone to be able to paint, and me just to never have to do this. No, I enjoy this, but you know, I want to be kicked out of the business. I want everyone to not need this anymore. That's my ultimate goal. This is just it's really, I love painting. It's been a very big and impactful part of my life, I'd say. It's honestly changed it around. Like a year ago, or a year and a half ago, I was in a dead-end job. I was literally Mr. Incredible. I was working in insurance, just on a call center for insurance, and you know, working 50 hours a week plus an additional job, still just struggling to pay the bills. You know, that was kind of the situation there with a couple toddlers, family, and then you know, just kind of this community and this painting really encouraged me just to kind of do some bold stuff, do some really just kind of drastic and bold stuff to kind of get here. You know, if people honestly thought that I would, I never honestly thought I would get to this point. And for those so wanting just to care about the painting, I'm using Royal Purple from Pro Acryl, which has some really beautiful paints. But it's been a journey. Just the people I've met and the things I've seen and done. I keep on waiting to wake up. But not too soon. I'm having a good time. It's coming along. The hardest way to paint Cheetah. I don't know if I'll make a tutorial of this version, but it's fun. I like to do a bit of a longer paints on live stream if people are talking, because then I don't get bored when I end it. For those watching, wait, paint's dry. Whoa. Who wants to see the Hellforge? Got this guy. I'm excited to get him all painted up. He's an angry furnace of rage and recycling. And this guy's gonna be really fun to paint. Renegade gave me a hard one because this guy's all yellow. And yellow is one of the hardest colors you can paint well. Without using special paints, you know, if you're using inks and airbrush, it's not hard. But just to use pure acrylics, we're gonna be doing some wacky stuff. This guy is gonna be entirely pink at one point, and we'll make it a yellow, then we'll make it dirty brown. I've been testing on some schemes and some other guys. Let's see, I forget what Kita's colors are. Oh, Kita. I've been seeing some winter versions of Kita pop up. I'm definitely going to paint my other version that way, just because I really like Hilda. If anyone's ever seen Hilda, it's such a cozy show, and they have this thing called a deer fox, which is all white. I get my own deer fox. So let's see. Kita has some gold plates on its face, yellow eyes, and you know, I will say the model, the the picture is different than the actual model, as this has a lot more fur that's connected. It's like a separate piece compared to the model and the art. No problem. We can still keep on working on this. And let's get some skeleton bone. Actually, let's get a bit more of a tan starting off. Oh, we have this right here, which we could use. This will work. That's my caramel brown and Super King tan mix. Caramel brown and chocolate brown. That's my caramel brown and chocolate brown mixed together, which is a good base for this. This warm tone. I think my Kita might be an evolution. Now that's a good idea. I might have to steal that concept. That's pretty great. I'm working on just a fun color alt video like I did before, and an evolution will I'll definitely credit you if I if I do that. Kita would look great as a Flareon. Would look really great on Kita. I think it's probably the best match. But I'd like to hear your pitch for it. Oh, I want to go play some Pokemon. I have played a lot of Pokemon in my day. I'm a big fan. Even though the games are objectively kind of bad. I just gotta catch them all. No, I'm taking the same color and just adding it as a bit of a highlight because I do like it. And this is going to be brightened up, so it's not like the color will be noticed. That's the color I wanted. I'm using stippling right now, which is just a bunch of small dots to kind of blend these colors together. Night Irene as Winnie the Pooh has been my favorite alt paints. Yeah, that was a pretty good submission. That was pretty unique, and I won't post mine until you post yours, and I'll say I stole this. I am the art thief. No, Flareon. The other one have weird tails. Like this is the only one with a good Flareon tail, and I don't think it would translate well as electric. Jolteon. You might be able to get a good Umbreon out of this, though. It's tough because there's kind of a limited pool. You know, I don't know how much of like people claim ownership on ideas. You know, and I was like, oh, I'm working on a White Raylan, but by the time I got around to doing it, there's like 4 already posted. So I think that's what it's there for, is to steal art schemes. You know, I like, but then the hipster part of me wants to find the one that no one's gonna do. Umbreon the second choice for the same wavelength today. Yeah, we are. We know our evolutions for sure. Well, you can't do Vaporeon, like it doesn't got the tail. Sylveon's just not a cool Pokemon. You know, this you could probably do a good Espeon. That these could be like its antenna. That could be pretty good there. Or just buy like 6 of these guys and have one for every evolution. I guess I am kind of painting mine like an Eevee now. I look at it like just that white fur all the way around is definitely a. These guys are pretty much Pokemon. The Familiars are pretty much just Pokemon. I mean, they're called into battle. They follow their masters. It's not a far stretch. No, I'm just kind of dry brushing this. Raise up this fur. Umbreon is one of probably my top 10 favorite Pokemon. I just really like it. I mean, it's just a good bad little boy. All right, so we're gonna grab some weapon bronze. Put this on the faceplate right here, as well as the tips of the horns. Really think about it, all skate figures are Pokemon. I guess everyone's just called into battle by their respective master. In a way. From a certain point of view. Let's get some skeleton bone. Fall is almost here. It's in its annual fight to the death against summer. Summer's throwing its death rolls to its last vestige of its power, but fall is almost here. I am ready. Masu, I choose you. He's just, just goes on the field and just starts just killing everyone. As Marcy does. I love that ugly little guy. Although my dad's almost stopped playing because of him, because he could not accept the fact that that guy flew. That was almost his breaking point. He's like, how does that guy fly? He's like, I get the vampires. I'll let the vampires fly. That guy ain't a vampire. Yeah, so Halloween costume. I think we're gonna be me and the wife are gonna be Kanan and Hera from Star Wars Rebels. If you're a Star Wars fan, you'll probably know what that is. But we've stopped doing family outfits. You know, last year we were all Mandalorians. The year before that we were Vision, Wanda, the twins, and Quicksilver. The kids have gained a sense of autonomy, so we're gonna have a mixture of, you know, Frozen. We made a mistake of showing our daughter that. Frozen, Captain America, Spider-Man. The things that, you know, not a cohesive not a cohesive unit, which is fine because we already own those costumes, so now I don't have to buy new ones, and it means I can invest more in my costume. I think it would be the blind variant of that Jedi, and if I can find a good mask. I wish this was a bit more crafty to be able to make my costume. Surprisingly, I not that skilled at that kind of stuff. I can't sew or stitch or anything like that in my life. A different wavelength, I think. So I'll try to find a good prefabricated wood. You have 4 siblings. 1 year we went as Twisted Alice and Wonderland. Collectively? Like all together? Or separately? YouTube tutorials are your friend for costume making. Yeah, the old brain bank is pretty full. I might have to drop like 4 dinosaur facts to learn how to make costumes, and that's a pretty big commitment right there. Like when you were making your costume, I was pretty like enthralled by the whole process. Like, how do you even do that? Because I love the concept of cosplay and costumes, and we've talked about this before. I like Halloween. I think for like different reasons than like you like Halloween. It feels like we're like on the same wavelength but different frequencies. Like I don't like the scary part of Halloween. I like kind of the collective magic in the air around that time. That kind of death of a season mentality. It's kind of tangible. There's kind of a sense of or just a powerful energy in the air that I really like to tap in creatively and communally. One sister was Mad Hatter with mercury poison. One sister was a beheaded Queen of Hearts. One sister was a killer Alice. Brother was White Rabbit, just the White Rabbit. And I was Cheshire Cat with super sharp teeth. That's pretty cool. Did you were you just like the floating head, or were you like the full cat? Full cat. Oh, that works too. Yeah, Alice in Wonderland is one of those things that just, it's kind of a weird experience. It's definitely like, you watch like even like the Disney movie, you're like, what the heck is going on here? Although I don't really much like the Disney version. I think it's pretty watered down for just how strange the story is. Keep on going through my head would be an easy HeroScape cosplay to do next. So if you're not restricted by like Gen Con, Sergeant Drake is pretty easy. You just get military fatigues, and you could do like the old version and just spray paint like a Nerf gun black. That's pretty easy, like a big old Nerf gun. Let's see, what would be easy to do? Like any historical figure, but like you could just shave your head and be a monk, you know. Something unique. If they have those like Dino Rider costumes, you know, just be a Grut riding a Grimnack, you know. Deathwalker would be so cool, like to be, as well. I was thinking of that. I was like, how do you be it? That's honestly, you could probably get like football padding and PVC pipe. Yeah, make it all black. It'd be kind of fun. You could be Deathwalker 7000, you know? That'd probably be a bit easier to do. Just get mittens and just walk around like this. Trying to think of every... I think you could probably do like the new stuff, honestly. It's pretty easy to cosplay. Like Killian Vane, the third. He's just a pirate costume with some like gas mask stuff. Like that's pretty easy. I want to see someone do Xenothrax. That would be a fun one. Oh, you could do the elf from the Silver Scimitars, because it's kind of got a unique look to it. It's recognizable, but it's like kind of unique. You know, you just get elf ears, a red cape, and you know, tan trousers, and what does he have? And just whatever his shirt is, and get a bunch of straps and buckles, and you're good to go. Like that's a pretty easy one. Not a lot of commitment, but it's pretty recognizable. Get some goggles, some steampunk goggles. Isamu is the easiest one. You just bring a blanket every time someone notices you. They ask, "What are you?" You just throw the blanket over your head, and you vanished. That's it. Let's see here. I think it's got yellow eyes. All right. So for yellow, we're gonna get this wicked plank here. Saying it's the best way to go to yellow. And maybe a brush that's a little less frayed. Pink. It's a little bit messier than the other one, but it's okay. And let's split. Now the Vallejo purple is one of my favorite colors out there. It's just a very nice neutral purple. Yeah, Xenothrax, let's see here. Yeah, the wings will be the hardest part. The tail, you can get some kind of like PVC pipes or something. And the helmets. If you get like the helmets and the tails, the wings, then you're set. But that's outside my purview. That would be epic if you did it, though. That would be That's guaranteed to get you like 4 more master sets at the next convention. I'm surprised no one has done a Washia yet, though, because that challenge is still out there, technically. I was thinking about just doing that just for the... because I'm kind of competitive. Just do the whole costume. That's all you need. That's all you need, Rowan. You don't even make it too hard. Just do the whole costume. And then... it's not hard. That's my advice to the kids. My kids all the time. They're always like, I can't do this. Just do it. That's all you need to do. Someone comes up to me, I'm sad. Just don't be sad. That's all you need to do. I'm here with so many life-solving solutions and no one wants to listen to me. Yeah, put the highlights to old Peter here. How would one do a Washio? So first off, just do the whole costume. That's all you need to do. So first off, a Washia is you find an octopus costume for like all the legs. You cut that off, and then you get like a I don't know. You're the costume person. I'm just here doing my thing. Yeah, you get an octopus costume. And then you get a squid hat, and you put those on, and then you get like a nice, long, thin Fu Manchu painted blue, and you're good to go. And wear a dress, maybe, do like a red dress. Blood red, purple dress, and then that's a Washia. And you put some gold armor on your arm. Oh, where is that pink at? Let's get some of that. Let's call that a red. Flesh tone, flesh tone. Tentacles are the easy part. That's the easiest part. I was gonna put some of that cuttlefish on this, but I can't find where I put the pink at. Huh. Man, I am really taking the hardest way to paint this Kita. This should be like a 10-minute job. So this bright pink into it. And really just add a fun sheen to this armor. Transitioning purple to pink is one of my favorite things to do. It's just very satisfying. These colors really mesh well together. Thankfully, AOA has a lot of purple, so I'm going to use that a lot. Get a nice looking yellow going on here. Do lemon yellow. It's a little bit bright. It goes right after bright undercoat. Let us not do that. Let's find a nice darker yellow. We can use wasteland clay. Thin this down a little bit. Yeah, Zinni is yeah, you have to make sure it's accurately scaled. So make sure you have like 6-foot wings behind you. Just block up like the whole conference room. Thin down some yellow. We're gonna line this over very lightly. That's great. Should have gone with the brighter yellow. That's okay. We'll add more to that. Let's see. This hair is still a little too bluish. We're good there. Oh, let's add the snoot. The hardest part as far as is that hat. Like, I guess you could probably foam craft that. But that hat shape is very unique. You have my bow. There's Lord of the Rings reference because it needs to happen every time. Alright, so we're adding some satin black, which I like using for the boops and the snoots. Because it's nice and shiny. It's looking pretty good. My AOA stuff is my next stuff to paint after the Zombicide and my dwarves. Yeah, it's I'm excited to see it. That's I think I saw some of your Zombicide stuff on that you posted. They're looking really, really good. So besides have some really, really fun models I've been meaning to get. They just they look like they're really fun and kind of get that HeroScape kind of feel to it, got a nice large hero scale. What AOA unit are you thinking you're most looking forward to going to starting? Man, my voice is almost gone. Once my voice is completely gone, I'm done. Da, da, da. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with his bespoke fur mane. So it looks good, but I don't love it. I need a warm white, I think, to contrast. Let's do some light work. So maybe some heavy warm white will kind of neutralize these colors. It's fully dried out yet. Don't do that. That's a bad thing to do. Pocket all day. Oh yeah, that foot. Yeah, I love the foot. I think starting with the battle box, then Zithrax. Yeah, Zithrax I think a lot of people are intimidated by, but it really is one of the easiest models to paint just because it's so big. Um, what's in the battle box? Oh yeah, like Bakverna and Pirates. Yeah, that's a good place to start as well. And put that on too thick. Do I want to be lazy or do I want to be cool? Show off to my friends. I don't want to do that. I'm tired. Let's just dry brush this baby. Yes, I use my chair as a texture palette. It's all moist. It's not going to be good. There we go. Add some nice, bright, warm tones. Okay, hold off on that part. And we're going to get the tail here. Make this a full-on Eevee at this point. I gotta fix that face. I was not paying attention. It doesn't look good now. Alright, I think I'm starting to get kind of sloppy now. I might have to call it pretty soon. We really all we have to decide is what we do at the time that's given us. Yeah. Well, I think this is a good place to call it. I'm gonna wait for this to dry and work a little bit more on the face, which honestly I don't talk a lot during, because I gotta really focus. I think my voice is let's go. Ah, yeah, it's gone. So this has been real. This is this. I'm gonna work on the details here too, and hopefully that kind of gave you all a bit of idea how to work with fur. There's multiple different ways to approach it. Dry brushing is your friend. Don't be afraid to use it, as it's the best way to bring out your fur. I guess we'll just close out. Switch to the. There we go. All right. Well, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Definitely stay tuned for more Escape updates. I'm out of my rut, so I'm back to editing again, and get some more fun stuff on the way. That's why my voice is partially gone. It's because I've been recording dialogue all day today, and look for me on the Renegade channel come Monday, as I will be painting Miserex there in a similar fashion today, but on a different house. And lots of exciting things are always happening here. Thanks for everyone that listened and chatted and helped me get through kind of what would have been a boring paint job. So thank you so much for that. Want to read the chats before I head out. Played one game with one paint with my daughter. Smaller maps are easy to set up to get a game going with her. She really likes Marvel HeroScape stuff. I've got C3G customs of her favorite. Yeah, see, the Marvel stuff is really fun if you just play with the Marvel stuff. It's kind of, if you like rolling lots of dice, can't recommend it enough. But if you play with normal HeroScape, it's a little rough. Although it is fun chopping Hulk in one turn with Grimnack, I will say. But everyone, have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and take care. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Bye!